on this track, fam.
Isang magandang araw sa ating lahat. This is my another video, but I will discuss now the basic syntax of PHP. So in this day, I will teach you how to use PHP, how to call a text and display it to the web browser, and how to use a simple operations or mathematical operation using the PHP. It is a simple using a variables. I also discussed to you that PHP is one of the language script that used when it comes in putting a functions in your website that you need to create. Ito po yung nagbibigay ng buhay sa isang website. Ito po yung nagbibigay ng functions sa lahat ng buttons na nilalagay natin or ini-input natin sa ating system. Using the PHP, we can create a dynamic websites. Unlike it is functionables, it is composed of different tags, syntax, with the helps of HTML, cascading style sheet, and also JavaScript. PHP will help you to connect your websites into database. So, sa madaling sabi po, mas madali po siya, mas mapapaganda natin yung isang website kung gagamitan natin to ng PHP na kung saan magbibigay ng buhay at halaga sa lahat ng gumagamit ng website nyo. Good, sa pamamagitan po nito, magiging functionable, usable po ang isang website sa pamamagitan ng PHP. So, let's start po. Simulan po natin yung simple tags that can help you to start coding. This time, we can see a simple syntax for calling or using a string in your syntax. So, we can say that in the formula that you can, in the syntax that you will see in your screens, we all use mathematics operations. We use echo and how to use different kinds of variables using the PHP. So, this time, makikita natin kung ano ba yung magiging output ng isang PHP syntax. This is the output of what you see in my last in my syntax in Sublime. So, makikita po natin, it displays hello world, 90 and 90. Kung mapapansin nyo po, we have different kinds of syntax that use in displaying 90 grades. So, we use one variables, and the other one is we need to use more than one variable. So, let's see what is the difference of the two use of variables. This time, I will help you to use how to create a simple syntax of PHP. So, this time, we are going to Untitled. Then, I will repeat what you see in the first syntax. So, before we go that, syempre, kailangan nating isave. So, paano ba sinisave ang isang PHP? So, when you save the PHP or when you save the files of PHP, you need to use the extension of .php. So, Ctrl-S natin siya. Ctrl-S. So, kapag po PHP na po yung files natin, we need to consider that your files will be saved inside the htdocs folder. So, ibig sabihin, you need to open your SAMP. Ano po? So, to open it, so just save your files. So, lagay po natin dito is sample.php, then save. Then, automatically po, we have a files of PHP under the folder of sample.php na kung saan makikita po natin sa loob ng htdocs under of SAM folder. So, this time, we need to know how to create syntax using PHP. So, like we are said in HTML, we need to consider always the open tags and the end tag. So, first, we need to create the open tag and close tag of the PHP para hindi na po natin siya malimutan. So, greater than, less than, dalawa pong question mark, then PHP, then apps, then enter po natin. So automatically we have a close tag and open tag of PHP. Ano po? So after po niya, maglagay po tayo ng comment. So dito malalaman din po natin paano ba tayo gumagawa ng comment. Ano po? So we can use control then question mark para makagawa tayo ng comment. Ayan po. So we need to input a comment. So ang pwede po natin ditong ilagay ay halimbawa po ay hello world. So, automatically po, kapag gumawa po tayo ng comments, it's not totally displaying to your syntax. It's already a comment lang po. Ano po? Next. Sunod po, paano po ba tayo tatawag o magdi-display ng isang string without, nang hindi connected sa ating database? So, we can use echo. So, yan po, echo. Then, put down the string. So, lagay po natin string natin is hello world. So, automatically, we have the syntax for hello world. So, we can see what is the output, what happens to our output. So, just Ctrl S po. Ctrl S po natin siya para ma-save natin. Don't forget always na i-save natin yung files natin. Ano po? Then, after we input the syntax, we need to see it to your browsers. But before we open or run your programs, you need to open your SAM para mabuksan natin yung Apache and MySQL. So, we need to start it para mabuksan natin into a browser or local host ang ating system. Or then after we run the programs, after we run the SAM, so we need to start the Apache and MySQL of your SAM. After you open it, start your Apache and MySQL, we need to call your system into localhost. So we can see it is we use localhost. Then yung sample is the name of the folder. Then yung login.php is the name of the file. So if I remember, we use sample.php. So we need to click it, delete it, then type sample.php, then enter. So mapapansin po natin, we display hello worlds to your to your web browser, which is ito po yung nakalagay natin doon na kung saan in-echo po natin. Ano po? So, it is a simple syntax that we need to consider is on how to use. And then, kung mapapansin po din natin sa syntax, nilagyan po natin siya ng comment. We use comment to make other person or developer easy to them to understand our syntax. So, kailangan po natin siyang ilagay para mas madali mabasa ng ibang tao or ibang developer yung mga syntax natin. Ano po? So, after that, we need to use how to use simple mathematics operations using PHP and how we apply it using the PHP. Ano po? So, we are now discussing another formulas that we need to consider or to be familiarized in PHP. So, the another one is how to input a variables or ano ba yung mga kailangan natin when it comes in adding a variables in your syntax. So, ang kailangan po natin syempre, lagyan natin ng $sign yung pinaka-variables natin. So, ito po yung palatandaan na you are using a variables. Ano po? So, but before that, we need to copy-paste the first syntax of our PHP. So, Ctrl-C po natin siya. Then, yung hello world po natin na nasa comment, pagtan po natin siya ng mathematics. Then, after that, yung echo po buburahin natin. Then, we are now putting your variable. So, we need to use $signs, then letter A. So, ibig sabihin, ito pong $sign na A na to, it means it is a variables. Then, equal. Then, ilalagay po natin kung ano ba yung hinihintay natin or kailangan natin. So, in these times, we are talking about if the student has a score in their assignment na 40 and 35. So, ang computation ng grades is 60-40. So, paano natin kukunin ngayon yung kanyang grade? So, ang total number of items for the 2 quizzes is 100. So, let's start. So, input po natin syempre si 40. 40 saka plus 35. Then, ang sunod po natin kukunin ay yung divide sa total ng 100. So, 100. Then, multiply natin siya sa 40. Then, multiply 40. Then, add natin siya sa 60. Then, don't forget your semicolon. In this formula, we can see that we are totally input the right the needed numbers, at the same time the operations or operations that or operators that we need to do or needed in our equations. But this time we need to consider that we need to follow the PEMDAS. So kung mapapansin po natin dito, we are not following the PEMDAS. So, we need to put a parenthesis in the first equations na kailangan niyang isolve. And that is the 40 plus 35. So, we need to input a parenthesis para ma-identify siya na first equations that we need to solve first. Bakit? Kasi sa PEMDAS, kung makikita po natin sa PEMDAS, kung alin yung nasa loob ng parenthesis, yun po yung kailangan nating i-consider na uunahing compute. So, let we see kung ano po ang lalabas sa kanya. Ano po? So, let we see to your browsers what happens after we put it. So, don't forget to Ctrl-S or save your files before we run it to a browser. So, let's start to check if what happens after we input a syntax for the operators and computation of numbers. So, from the localhost sample.php, we need to refresh it. So, click enter or F5. So, kung mapapansin po natin, they have an errors that we can see. Hindi po nag-display dito yung ating output. So, let me see what's the problems that we encountered. So, wala po tayong error na nakita, but definitely, we have an errors regarding to our syntax. So, let me see. In the syntax, the errors that we encounter is not displaying the output or results of the equations that we input in our variables. So, the problems is, we are not inputting echo or syntax for echo na kung saan tutulong sa atin para may display yung result ng equations na inilagay natin sa variables natin, which is $a. So, we need to echo, then put a $a, then semicolon para ma-identify na yung argument ay tapos na. Then Ctrl-S po natin ulit. After we Ctrl-S, we need to check it to our browsers what happened. So let me check what happened to our browser now. So from the errors that we encounter on line 21, we need to check, then refresh it. So, kung makikita po natin, we have hello world and 90. So, ibig sabihin, yung 90 po yung result ng grades natin ng bata. So, we need to put a BR. We can use put a BR in your syntax para magkaroon or mag-display yung 19 to the next line. Let me check on the another sides or another way on how to input your numbers or how to use another equations nang hindi dinidisplay natin yung pinaka-numbers. We are now using different kinds of variables when it comes to this equation. So, let we see kung ano po yung sa pang-way para sa ganito. So, let's start. Dito, makikita natin, nilagyan ko na po siya ng BR para magkaroon ng pagitan sa hello world at saka si mathematics. So, kung mapapansin po natin dito na naglagay tayo para yung result noong sa mathematics natin ay pumunta dun sa next line niya. So, same with the another formula or syntax that we need to use in another mathematics equation. Same lang din po, 90 din po yung lalabas niyang result, but still differ po yung kanyang syntax. So, let's start, copy-paste po natin to. Ctrl-B. Mathematics Sec 2. So, let me see kung ano po ang pwede natin gawin. So, this time, tanggalin po natin parentheses. Then, all the numbers involved, we need to call it by using a variable. So, copy-paste po natin siya. Okay. 40, we use 35, we use 100, and we use 60. And to this is the equations to the last variable. So, syempre, we need to change the variables natin to B, C, D, and E. So, after that, dito sa letter E natin, dito po natin ngayon i-input yung equation na kailangan natin na same po nito. So, how? Paano po ba? So, dito, ang gagawin na po natin siya, i-call natin yung bawat variables na needed ng mga numbers na kailangan natin. So, let's start to put a parenthesis. Then, after that, we need to add A, yung variables A natin. Then, plus. Then, yung variables B natin. After that, kailangan natin lumabas sa parenthesis. Then, kailangan natin gamitin yung slide for divisions. Which is, the needed naman natin po is yung variable C. After that, we need to multiply it to variable A. Bakit po variable A? Kasi kanina siguro iniisip nyo, bakit hindi tinawag yung isang 40? Because same na po sila ng numbers or value. So we don't need to call it again. So just put the variables A, then plus, then ang sunod pong ipa-plus natin is yung 60 which is the variable D. Oops. After po natin ma-input yung equations natin, kailangan ulit natin siyang i-echo para mag-display siya ng output. So, i-echo po natin siya. So, ang i-echo po natin dito is yung letter E and not the A, B, C, D. Because in letter E, we already call all the variables A from A to D. So, ibig sabihin po, yung mga value niya, tinatawag na po natin kay letter E. That's why we are calling to our echo the variables E. Then, after that, Ctrl S po natin. And then, let me check what happens to our output. We can see the browsers. So, we need to check if yung mga tags or syntax na pinasok natin kanina sa PHP will be effective and will give us same results in the first equations that we input. So, let me see. Refresh it or use F5 or enter. Yan. Then, we can see we have an input same numbers which is 90. So, ibig sabihin po nun, tama yung pangarehas na equation. We can use same equation or same syntax but different way, in different way. Yung isa, we use one variables and the other one is we use more than one variable. So, it depends upon to the developers kung alin yung gagamitin ninyo. So, sometimes ito yung ginagamit natin. So, that's all for today. So, I hope you understand how to use the basic syntax of the PHP. So, that's all for today. Thank you and God bless.